Happy Thursday, everybody. I'm Coco, and this is the Lit Mama's YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you are returning, thank you for tuning in with us again. Either way, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and turn the bell on so that you are notified when we have new videos dropping. Okay, let's get right into it. First book I'm going to review today is called Lie in It by B. Love. I want to start off by mentioning that this is a novella. I also wanted in a giveaway, so I wanted to go ahead and review that one first, just out of appreciation for the author for picking me for the giveaway. This story is going to follow Regal and Sophia. So, Regal and Sophia, the way that they end up meeting is Regal ends up getting into an argument with his eventual ex, and he needs to take some space and some time. So he goes for a drive, which is cool. He finds Sophia stranded on the side of the road. She's headed to a sunflower field. They talk a little bit, and eventually Regal takes her to the sunflower field that she was looking for, because coincidentally, the field is one of his favorite places to be as well. They end up starting a relationship, it's a really cute relationship. Unfortunately, that ex that I mentioned earlier, she stirs up some drama, and eventually that drama tears them apart for a while. Come to find out, the whole situation's a whole misunderstanding, a misunderstanding on Regal's part, not necessarily the ex's part. You'll read more about that later on. Eventually, it puts them back together again, and then voila, happily ever after. So what did I think of the book? I have never read about a male character who is as emotionally in tune to not only his feelings, but the feelings of others as I have Regal. He's understanding of his own emotions. He understands where he's at in life, what he wants, and he also wants to respect those boundaries, not only with his ex and knowing what she can and can't handle from him, and also eventually Sophia, and trying to respect her boundaries and telling her the truth and allowing her to make her own decisions. This is not only refreshing, but it's very attractive. Sophia is similar in this way as well. She's very clear about what she wants, what she's going to take, what her responsibilities are as far as relationships go and love, and what her partner's responsibilities are. She's not going to compromise for anybody, as you'll see with the misunderstanding that comes with the ex. Not even for Regal will she compromise what it is that she wants out of life and out of a relationship. And I really like that. So let's talk pros. So the story was well written, and it was easy to follow. It was a pleasure read. I enjoyed it. Sex scenes were good. They're pretty steamy. When you got into them, I enjoyed those. The love, the romance, it was all nice. The cons. So to be fair, I generally do not enjoy novellas. I feel like they're way too short. I like quite a bit of detail in a book. I like for a couple's story to be wrapped up. I'm not a fan of one couple's story kind of bleeding over into another couple's story. So with that said, for me, the cons are Regal and Sophia's story. This was not one of those that I felt were completely wrapped up. So to wrap up on Lie in It by B. Love, I give the book 3.5 out of 5 stars. The author, she's a great author. The story itself was a good, it had the potential to be a great story. I think with just a little bit more detail, just a little bit. I know she was really trying to make the goal of it was to be a novella. And so it didn't need to be a huge, long, kind of drawn out novel. But I think with just a little bit more length, this book could have easily been a 4.5 to 5-star book. Easily. And just the direction that they were going, just the character development, everything. I truly believe that the only hindrance to this book, in my opinion, is the length and not having as many details as I felt that it should have had. My opinion, it's a good transitional book. So, I mean, like if you read a kind of a long book or a series and you need something really quick to just read before you start your next long book or series, this is something that you want to pick up. So with all of that said, that wraps up the review on B. Love's Lie in It. So let's just jump right into the next book. The next book's title is Love's Inconvenient Truth by Love Belvin. Love Belvin is an author I've been wanting to read forever. So for the past year or so, up until about maybe 3 months ago, I had strictly gotten all of my reading done via audiobook. None of her books are in audio form. So this book, when I finally decided that I was ready to pick up my Kindle again and start reading, this book was the first book that I read. So I'm going to go ahead and review it. So the book's about Elle and Jackson, whom share a night of passion, which is great for both of them. They have a good time. It's all good. Good, quick little, well, not quick, but a good one night stand. Only to discover later on that they work together. And what's worse is Jackson is Elle's boss. So why is that a problem? Well, the first issue is Elle is older than Jackson. So you can kind of imagine the power dynamics that are going to go on there. Secondly, she finds out that he's her boss when she's trying to interview for a promotion. So immediately Jackson is suspicious that she only slept with him so that she'd have a better chance at being promoted. Well, of course, this isn't true. She didn't even know that he was going to end up being her boss. So they eventually get over that, decide to keep the relationship strictly professional. She gets the promotion, which was great. After some time working together, though, the attraction between the two of them just is nuts. So clearly, and as I'm sure you've guessed, they were not able to just keep it strictly professional. But they weren't jumping in on the love train either. It was supposed to be strictly physical. After some time passes in their physical relationship, it becomes very obvious that they're both hiding some deep secrets and that they both have gone through some traumas. So Elle, it's more obvious for Elle. It's more obvious for her. So Love Belvin did an excellent job of keeping me on my toes throughout this whole book. So pay attention to all the characters in the book. There are some characters that you are going to think are going to have a major role in the story that absolutely don't. They're insignificant. They mean nothing. They're just kind of a blip on the way to the story and through the story. Then you have some characters that seem like they're not going to really matter, but they're major players, and you find out things about them that help you find out more about Elle and Jackson. So make sure you just keep an eye on those characters and keep an eye on what they're doing and really just kind of, pay attention to that. Keep them all in mind so that you don't get them confused, because there are a lot of people. It seems like there are a lot of characters and people mentioned in this book. So Jackson and Elle are very assertive. They're very in your face. Based on their jobs, it's not surprising that they're like this. They need to be like this to get the work done. So Elle comes off as a bitch. That's just the facts. She comes off as a bitch. But as you get into the story, you can really tell that she's gone through quite a bit of trauma. I thought I had it all figured out, what was happening based off of some of the clues that were dropped in the beginning. But as you get deeper into the story, you can tell there's so much more going on. It just, you end up really feeling bad for her and understanding what happened and where she's coming from and why she behaves the way that she behaves. Even though she tries to hide it, you can tell she's a really loving person underneath all of that pain, underneath all of that darkness, underneath all of that stuff. But it's just so heavy, and it weighs her down every day. So you get a chance to really see, as you get deeper into the book, what really happened to her and why she is the way she is. Jackson has daddy issues, but this is not what you think. These aren't your typical, daddy expected too much from me, daddy pushed me too hard, too far. And I think you guys are going to be really surprised at not only how terrible it is, but how well Jackson is actually coping with how terrible everything is. Let's talk positives. The story is beautifully written. It's easy to follow. There are a lot a lot of sex scenes in this book. And I figured that's a good warning to give people, because I know when some people read romance, they are not a fan of too many sex scenes. This book has a lot of them, and they are steamy, and they are well written, and I love them. But at the end of the day, it may be more than what you're wanting. So just take a minute to think about that before you pick up the book. The sex scenes themselves, like I said, they're really good. They're really steamy. I like them, but they also serve a purpose. They kind of help to peel back some of those layers that we really need to see in both characters. It helps to open up and bring both characters closer to one another and closer to figuring out what's going on within themselves. Another big positive for me is that both of these characters have a lot of past trauma, a lot of mental hurt, a lot of just pain that they're going through. And I love how this story is not a love is going to conquer all, love is going to fix all of this type of story. So Miss Belvin makes clear through her writing and through this story that love will not fix the problems that these two have. The problems that these two have require mental health experts. They require mental health professionals to come in and truly help them work through those things. And I'm glad she was able to show that in order to have healthy, lasting love, that you do have to go in and you do have to go through and work through some of that past trauma to make room for that love, to make room to be vulnerable, to make room to build trust. And so she does, like I said, she does that in this book. And that's a big positive. That's a big plus for me. Cons. The biggest con for me is that the story is written completely from Elle's point of view. I get it. A lot of it's her story. Her trauma's a little bit bigger. I understand. But Jackson had feelings. Jackson had reactions. Jackson had different things going on throughout all of this as well. And I really would have liked to have gotten to know him on more of an emotional level. All of his reactions, all of his emotions were told to us through Elle's perspective. And as we all understand, what we think may be going on with another person is not what's going on with another person. So I would have liked to have known for sure what Jackson was thinking during certain moments. I also would have liked to have known how he was feeling and acting and thinking during some of those numerous sex scenes. So that's my biggest con for this one. Another con for me is that while we know Jackson and Elle have both been through a lot, after a while, the push and the pull, the 2 steps forward, 15 steps back, kind of game that they were playing throughout the whole book, it got kind of annoying there at the end. Elle got to be a bit much there after a while. Sometimes you just want to shake her up and slap her up and tell her to knock it off. So this book got a 4 out of 5 stars from me. Like I said, the only 2 cons were it was told completely from Elle's point of view and the characters could be a bit much, so that it kind of knocked that down a little bit because it could be a little bit off-putting. But Miss Belvin is definitely an author that is in my I'm gonna have to consume everything that she's written at this point because this book was so good. The book itself, I will definitely be reading again. It's going to go into my read again file. I definitely recommend it to those of you who enjoy a little bit of the drama and who enjoy books that have quite a bit of sex in them. This book is perfect for you. For those of you who are a little bit more laid back and love kind of the fairy tale romance type of book, this is not the one. This is not the one. It's good. It's a good book. It's a well-written book, but it's not going to fall in your wheelhouse at all. But it falls into mine. So that about wraps it up for today. I hope you guys enjoyed my reviews of Lie in It by Be Love and Love's Inconvenient Truth by Love Belvin. If you've read these books already, go down in the comments below and let me know who your favorite characters are. Who were your least favorite characters? What did you think about the story? I want to know all of it. If you haven't read these books already, let me know down in the comments if I've convinced you to give them a try. Until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.